Welcome once again to Real Shame, a show where the two of us talk about our list of movie blind spots, movies that we haven't seen, movies that have come out since the dawn of time, since the beginning
of the end
of the beginning of the universe. Movies that have been released that we didn't see for one reason or another. Maybe they just didn't interest us.
Yep.
Or, who knows? Whatever. My name's Andy.
And I'm Adam.
I almost said that. My name's Adam. My name's Andy.
His name's Adam. You can be me for a bit if you want.
And today, or actually this week, we're going to do a couple of movies from my list of shame to talk about today's episode, today's movie. Yep. Adam is going to take it away.
That's right. I was going to write something.
Really quickly.
Yep, sorry. This is great.
Time out real fast. So anyway.
Yep. All right.
Guy walks into a bar. Okay, no, go ahead.
Sorry. I should have done this before. Yes, so to introduce the movie that Andy hasn't seen, a naive man comes out into the world after spending 35 years in a nuclear fallout shelter in Blast from the Past.
Well, I'm certainly not going to let this pot roast go to waste. Oh, Calvin, could you put that seat cushion back in the lawn chair, honey? Shouldn't we at least turn off the phonograph?
It shuts off automatically.
Oh, did you rig it to do that?
We all do.
Oh, I never know anymore.
I bet that's a fighter jet on his way to Key West. Good luck, amigo.
The emergency has been declared. I repeat, an emergency has been declared.
You hear that? I'll come back for the radio.
Oh, Calvin, I wish you would have at least let me do the dishes. It's not going to be that easy to get all this dried-on food off my nice plate.
I just hope those plates are not radioactive by tomorrow.
Well, cheese is particularly troublesome.
Blast from the Past came out in late, I believe, early actually, 1999, many moons ago. It is written by Bill Kelly, who did the story, and directed, and also the screenplay is written by Hugh Wilson. Hugh Wilson, you'll know him from movies that he's directed as Guarding Tess with Nick Cage, where he plays like the Secret Service guy. Dudley Do-Right, another movie that stars the star of this movie, Brendan Fraser. And he did the first Police Academy movie.
Wow,
yeah.
First Police Academy. Proctor!
Kelly, the other writer, he wrote Enchanted, which I adore as a movie itself, and Premonition, the Sandra Bullock, I believe, thriller. I haven't seen it, but
I don't think I've seen that either.
This movie stars Brendan Fraser as Adam, great name. Alicia Silverstone as Eve. You'll see some biblical ties-ins with the names. Christopher Walken. I wasn't going to do an impression. I felt like I should, but I'm not going to. As Calvin. Sissy Spacek as his wife, Helen. We have David Foley from Kids in the Hall as Troy. And he's not high in the order, but being a huge nerd and kind of being a brown coat, I guess. Nathan Fillion plays Cliff. You know him as Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly and Serenity, and he's in The Rookie now, and he was in Castle. So I like him as an actor. He was in Buffy. He was like in the last season of Buffy, last season or the season before last, and Buffy.
And he should have played Nathan Drake in Uncharted.
Yes, he was in a really good Nathan Drake fan film that I don't know if someone paid for, and he's a better Nathan Drake than...
much better.
Yeah. So Blast from the Past is a movie that I think I've seen bits and pieces before, but I don't think I've seen the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
But it was a actual viewer's suggestion.
That's right, it was.
Because Brendan Fraser was nominated for an Academy Award, which has happened, after it happened before we filmed this, and all that kind of stuff. And he's been getting a lot of buzz for his portrayal in that movie, which was The Whale. And he
won.
And we can tell you he won. It was very fun, and I'm glad he won. It was a viewer's choice. So. 2 weeks ago, we did Inkheart, which was another movie that he was in, and this was a viewer's request, so we decided to do this also. So that's why we chose Blast from the Past.
Yes.
So Andy, you have not seen it. Did you know anything about Blast from the Past? Do you remember it coming out or anything like that?
I certainly do, and I don't really know why I never saw it back in 1999. It just missed me somehow.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I saw the preview for it or anything. It was like, oh, I I don't want to see that. Screw
Yeah.
that movie. I just never got around to seeing it. And I, honestly, you put it on the list, or somebody requested it, as you said, and you put it on the list, and I was like, I sure hope I'm right, and I actually have not seen that. But maybe, I hope it. It's not one of those where I think I haven't seen it, but I actually have.
Yeah,
but no, I can honestly say I have not seen this movie.
Yeah.
Not even. I don't think bits and pieces of it. I knew nothing about what was going to happen. I mean, I knew the general premise of the story, but I really knew nothing about what was going to happen.
Meet cute with people, from different eras. Awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like you. I actually I don't remember this movie coming out. I just remember seeing it like on cable or playing on cable a bunch, and maybe I remember seeing the box art in the video store, but I don't remember this movie like ever hitting theaters. But I was probably busy in February of 1999.
This came out the same year as Pleasantville, and so Pleasantville, I have seen Pleasantville, and I remember really liking Pleasantville, but for some reason I always kind of thought of these movies in the same kind of breath or the same kind of thought, because they both at least deal with the past in some form, some capacity. Like in Pleasantville, they get sucked into the TV or something like that.
They deal with like this idealized version of like the 1950s or something like that, and
of course, this movie starts in the 1960s and whatnot. A simpler time.
Yeah, but right before the Cuban Missile Crisis, or during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah, because they think that the bomb drops on their house or whatnot. But
all right, so that's enough preamble. That's a lot of preamble, more than we normally do.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts after seeing Blast from the Past? Did it blast you away?
Well, it's interesting because we did this right after the Academy Awards, as you mentioned, and Brendan Fraser looks quite different in the makeup job, that he does in The Whale, which I did watch The Whale before the Oscars. So seeing him, young, I think he was about 30 whenever he did Blast from the Past. He was born in the late 60s.
Around, I think George of the Jungle came out the same year as this too, and he was
that's one I've not seen.
No, George of the Jungle did. The Mummy came out the same year in 1999.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And he was like leading man in The Mummy. Yeah. I love The Mummy.
Well, it's funny because I remember seeing him in Encino Man, and I thought this guy's career is never going to go anywhere. But now 20 odd years later,
you saw Ke Huy Quan also in Encino Man. You're like, this guy's career is not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, right. Now they're both Academy Award winners. But so I started watching this, and of course, the first thing that kind of stands out to me is like, oh, Brendan Fraser looks so young in this movie, and he's not portraying this guy from The Whale or whatever. But I actually, so I thought that the movie was going to be, like in my head, I was thinking, okay, I knew that they were like in an underground bunker for 30-something years, and then they come back up. But for some reason, I thought it was like a family affair. I thought that he and his dad and his mom were going to go together, like as
it's
gonna
be like a Coneheads kind of thing where they're like, seeing how this different family interact with the new world and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, that's exactly how I thought it was going to be. I figured that was kind of going to be the whole kind of premise of the movie. Is they're going to go out, everything is foreign to them, and they're what's this, and that's going to be how the movie generates laughs. So it was to my surprise that basically they're down in the bunker for the first part of the movie. Then when the time locks or whatever finally get released, only his dad gets sent out first. But his dad comes down and he's like, we can't go up there. And then his dad gets sick or has a heart attack or something. And so they have to send Brendan Fraser. And so he goes up, and then the whole movie is basically him getting supplies and
fish out of water
and falling in love with the Alicia Silverstone character and meeting her and the Dave Foley character or whatever. But I really like this movie. I actually, it's so like wholesome because of his character, the way that he is, because he's been raised in this underground bunker. He's not like a violent person. He doesn't curse a lot. He's just so squeaky clean. But I just really liked it. I thought this was a really warm, like it warmed my heart. Like I thought this was a really warm comedy. I don't think I've ever found Alicia Silverstone more likable. I liked her character a lot in this movie because, I think of like Clueless, which I think Clueless is okay, but I'm not like a mega fan of it or anything. And she plays an airhead in that, obviously. And then, she's like Batgirl. And I was trying to think of a role that I've seen her in where I really, really found her this likable.
Excess Baggage?
Yeah, she's kind of a brat in that, though, right? I mean,
I think he kidnaps her, right?
Yeah. Benicio del Toro or something kidnaps her. Yeah, so I can't really think of a movie.
Aerosmith music videos, is she in those?
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe she's likable in those.
maybe. But no, I mean, I found her character really likable because she's got kind of the street smarts.
Yeah.
She doesn't want him, to like she keeps him from selling the baseball card for like way low, and
She has like
everything
plenty
else.
of opportunities to take advantage of him, and
Yeah.
each time she kind of does, but she always like relents and comes back.
Yeah, because he
Like,
gives her the
the
baseball
car,
card
she's like,
to
"Well, I
drive
gotta
him, and she
earn
feels
this."
bad,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she
yeah.
comes back. So I really liked her character. I like Dave Foley's character.
Yeah.
So Dave Foley plays a gay man in the movie, and there's a lot of 80s 90s comedies that do that sort of thing,
Yeah.
and they play some kind of stereotypical character. But I never felt like Dave Foley was trying to play any kind of a stereotype.
Yeah.
I thought that he did a good job, but I thought all the main characters were good. As you mentioned, it was nice seeing Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
Playing
Playing a douchebag kind of
a
thing.
douchebag, in like an early role or whatever. But no, I thought it was a really, really sweet comedy. I liked the kind of running gag with when they come up from the elevator, like the guy starts a cult.
Yeah.
And like
Or
the first
the
dad
mother-
comes
the
up.
father.
I'm the father, I'm the son,
Yeah.
and then I'm the mother, and so I thought that was pretty funny. I did kind of wonder what the mom and the dad were up to. It doesn't go back to them as much, and I felt like the very end of the movie was it just kind of ends. Like
Yeah.
Alicia Silverstone basically turns into the narrator all of a sudden, like even though she hasn't narrated any of the movie, and then the movie just sort of ends like in a weird kind of spot. But those would be my only real problems with the movie, and they're so minor. I just thought this movie was really, really wholesome and sweet, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was funny too.
Yep.
So, did you feel the same?
I did. Actually, I
You didn't feel the same about Alicia Silverstone.
No, I'll get into that. I really did enjoy the movie. I did find it kind of interesting. I think the premise was fun and well done, and I like the idea because like I'm watching, I'm like, okay, how are they going to get in the bunker? And I like the fact that this jet crashes, and then it's like, well, that could cover up for why no one's looking for them because they could think they got basically
they think they're all
incinerated
dead,
and all that kind of stuff. And and then like the construction workers like, I don't want to care what's underneath here. It's a septic
just
tank.
lay the foundation over their bunker.
Although that elevator's got to be pretty strong, but it shows that
through the ground,
that he's a pretty smart engineer, Christopher Walken's character. I like the premise of it. I thought it was really fun. I think they did all the right things. I'm with you. I wish they kind of cut back to the parents a little bit more, or because he is out there for like 2 weeks or something like that, and it's like
for a long
his
time.
Parents
I
worried
was like,
about
what are
him?
they
Looking
doing?
for him?
It cuts back to him like maybe once, and I know his mom goes up in the elevator.
Yeah, but
you don't
she immediately
see
goes
much.
back down. Yeah, because she has her drink in her hand or whatever.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, alcoholism's not funny, but in this movie, it's funny
yeah.
that she's stir crazy, and
Yeah.
she's like, "There's a little thing called a liquor store.
Yeah.
You're gonna need to find that.
Yeah.
Write that down.
Write that down.
Yeah.
Do this. Write that down. I do think Alicia Silverstone's acting is pretty atrocious in this movie.
I didn't think it was bad.
It really stood out to me as not good. I don't know if she was phoning it in or what, or if Brendan Fraser was just bringing something, but I really didn't feel a whole lot of chemistry between Brendan Fraser and Alicia Silverstone in the movie. Like it felt like the movie obviously wanted them to get together, but I really didn't get that spark from it. And just the whole time, it's just Alicia Silverstone's on the screen. It just felt like she was dull, like she was bored by the movie and stuff. And I
didn't get that vibe at all. I found her more likable in this movie than I have in any other Alicia Silverstone movie.
I think I don't know. It's so because I've in my head I was comparing it to like Clueless, and I felt she was really alive, and that character felt so real.
You weren't comparing it to the Raekwon shark movie that she's in.
That was pretty bad too. I should have, and then I would have liked it a lot better. The thing that stood out the most to me here was U-Haul prices hasn't changed that much. Like in the 22 years, 23 years, 24 years, the U-Haul cost about $20 to rent it, all that kind of stuff. So I was really surprised on how much the U-Haul prices haven't changed.
Yeah.
There hasn't been any any growth in those prices or anything like that. So you can still rent a U-Haul in 1999 for the same price you can rent a U-Haul here in 2023.
It's good. It's good.
But yeah, no, I really thought this movie was going to be kind of you kind of worry that we're just going to look at this movie and just think of it as like like saccharin and kitschy, what's the word?
Kitschy, yeah.
Kitschy and stuff like that, and we're just not going to have fun with it. It's just going to be like, okay, watching it. But like you said, there's enough heart to it. There's enough interesting things going on that I really, really kind of enjoyed watching this movie. So I'm completely with you on your assessment of it.
Yeah, I just thought it was really sweet.
Yeah.
I don't normally describe a lot of movies like that, but it was. I mean, I can't describe sweet, cute, whatever. I can't describe it any other way. It was very, very wholesome.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. It didn't go the way that I expected. Again, I expected it to be his entire family and they're all kind of taking a tour of LA or something.
Yeah.
But when it ended up just kind of being him, and of course he ends up not knowing how to get back to the bunker, so you throw that whole kind of wrinkle into it, and he basically spends a lot of time with, again, the Alicia Silverstone and the Dave Foley character. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Did you notice that when they went to the adult bookstore that they blurred the box art?
I did not. No.
Yeah. So all the movies are kind of in the foreground. It's blurred because I guess they wanted to keep that PG-13 rating. So I found that really interesting. It's like, oh, this is interesting.
I didn't even notice.
But it's just one of those subtle things that you're like, if you look for it, you see it. But if it's not something that's really noticeable,
Yeah. And even though it doesn't cut back to the parents as much, I like Christopher Walken in this. You know, he's not. I mean, obviously we've seen him do comedy and dancing, but he's nice. He's great as the dad, and Sissy Spacek, like I say, I found funny, especially the fact that she starts turning to drinking a lot of liquor to kind of
found him
things.
So unbearable and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
but yeah, this is a sweet movie. Very sweet and very wholesome.
I agree. Yeah, so great pick. Thank you so much for whoever threw that on there. I'm glad we had a chance to watch that.
Yeah. Finally saw it after 20 plus years.
Yep, there you go.
And after Brendan Fraser won himself that Oscar.
So we're pretty favorable on this movie. I can't even speak tonight. We're pretty favorable on this movie. Where do the critics fall on this?
Almost fresh.
Okay.
58% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, 56% audience. Ebert did give it thumbs up. Unfortunately, Siskel, I don't think he passed away yet, but he did pass away in 1999. He did not review this film. Leonard Maltin gives it 2.5 stars.
All right, seems
right there in the middle.
Well, that's Leonard's go-to. I think 2 stars is go-to. So a little bit better.
Yeah, 2.5. Yeah, he's a hard man to please.
That's right.
Hard man to please.
All right. Well, that's Blast from the Past. On these Monday episodes, we like to talk about what we've been watching. So I'm going to toss it over to you, Andy. What have you been watching?
I feel like not much. Been busy doing other things, and also of course we knocked out or watched a lot of like Academy Awards stuff before the Academy Awards, and now those have passed.
And we did a long episode 2 weeks ago. It was like nearly an hour.
Yeah,
where we talked about a bunch of those movies.
But I did watch another comedy. I think I've already kind of briefly mentioned it to you. I watched a comedy with Donnie Yen called Enter the Fat Dragon.
So I've heard about this. I heard he does martial arts in a fat suit. Is there anything more to that? Anything less to that?
Not really. I think it's on Prime Video or something like that. So I was like, well, whatever. It's streaming. I'll watch it. So I watched it. And I mean, it's always cool to see Donnie Yen kick ass.
He's a great martial artist.
Fat suit or no fat suit. I don't understand where the fat dragon part comes in because... Unlike the Nutty Professor, where Eddie Murphy dons the fat suit and Nutty Professor 2, there's no real purpose for him to be fat. He basically is engaged to a woman. Something happens. She ends up leaving him, and so he just eats a lot and he gains a lot of weight. But it doesn't affect his ass-kicking ability one bit. He still kicks as much ass as he could before. He's still very much agile. I expected it to hamper him in some way. He can't jump up on, this thing as quickly. He can't. But no, he's like jumping, flying, high kicking, doing everything.
Does he ever split his pants?
I don't think he does.
All right, I'm out.
I think towards the end of the film, because he does, start talking to the girl that left him again. I don't think that's much of a spoiler. You really know that's going to happen. But, at some point she's like, I love you just the way you are. Like, she doesn't mind that he's gained some weight. But that's really about the only thing that the fat part plays into the movie. So I didn't really understand. I really think they saw the title Enter the Dragon, and they were like, what if we just made it Enter the Fat Dragon, and they just made a movie out of it.
And I guess Sammo Hung was unavailable.
Sammo Hung, yeah, he's unavailable. I guess, because he's not in it. But I mean, it was okay for what it was. Like, it's just, it's not one of the best kung fu or action kind of movies that I've seen. It was all right. I didn't pay any money to see. I just watched it streaming, so I didn't, whatever. It was all right.
All right.
That's about all I've been watching. Except if you're going to talk about what you've been watching, I can chime in on that.
I am. Yeah, we'll jump into it. So, I want Creed 3 just came out in the theaters, and to remember the whole saga of Adonis Creed, I dove into the first Creed movies, and then I watched the Creed 3.
As did I.
So I remember the first Creed coming out, and I saw it in theaters, and it was like, oh, this is a interesting take from the Rocky franchise. Rocky's had like 6 movies, and now they're going to take it a different direction and all that kind of stuff. And I think the first Creed movie holds up still. I think there's some parts that are a little cheesy now coming back watching it, maybe because I know what's going to happen and I'm not as invested in the story. But I do think it's a Legacy sequel done well, right?
Yeah.
Where you're kind of taking the bones, you're taking the premise of the movie, but applying it to new characters and new situations. And I thought it was really smart, really well done. Michael B. Jordan was great in it. I think Ryan Coogler wrote and directed it, and he did a great job and all that kind of stuff. So I like the first Creed movie. And
yeah, I agree. It's it's when it first started coming out, because I didn't see it in the theater, but I saw it like on Blu-ray or something. But when it first started coming out, I was like, do we really need another Rocky movie? But I like the direction that they went with it. I thought it's good, and rewatching it this time, I still like it as well.
Yep.
It's my favorite out of the three. Out of the 3, yeah.
All right. I think so for me too. And so then I and Kirby also has never seen the Creed movies, so was showing her those for the first time and getting her reaction, all that kind of stuff. Then we jumped into Creed 2, which, Rocky 4 is one of my favorite Rocky movies. You have Sylvester Stallone, versus America versus the Russian, and all that kind of stuff. Rocky versus Ivan. He's going to end the Cold War with his fist. Awesome movie and stuff like that. And they cast like a great guy to be Ivan Drago's son, Victor Drago, and all that kind of stuff. And I thought 2 was pretty good. It kind of does the I don't want to say it's Rocky 3 thing. It's more like the Rocky. It is Rocky 3, right? Where Rocky meets Clubber Lang, and he's like, doesn't have the drive anymore, and he gets his butt handed to him, and then he's got to find that grit, that determination, and all that kind of stuff to kind of come back and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of the story of Creed. I think, like I said, I think Victor's well cast. I like seeing Ivan Drago and Bridget Nielsen back in the movie and all that kind of stuff. I do like the desert training montage. I mean, I love a good like fight training montage. I think that's what these movies do really well, and they're really interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm it's not as good as Creed 1, but it's not terrible. It's
Yeah, I like it. I don't like it as much as Creed 1, but I definitely like it a lot. And I do like him versus Drago, Victor Drago. And yeah, the guy that plays Victor Drago is jacked.
He is jacked. And Michael B. Jordan got jacked.
Yeah, they both are jacked.
And I think it's the second best of all the Creed movies. And so that leads us to Creed 3 that is coming out, and we'll do our best to avoid spoilers since we're not talking about it as a main review. I think the movie's mixed. I think this movie, there's some things that it does really good and does things that really well. And I think Michael B. Jordan's directing this one this time out. And I think he's trying to bring some new stuff, new film language and new things to the movie that don't really fit and don't really work really as well as I think he would. And those things kind of give me like a mixed feeling on it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think there's too much backstory in it. I do think it really spells things out for the audience. And I feel like the movie could probably excise some time and excise that quite a bit, because I feel like there's a few times where the audience is definitely ahead of the movie, and it's just like, or they're showing something, it's like, yeah, we kind of get it, we get that, like that's obvious, this is like a trope that has existed, we know where this is going, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I do think Jonathan Majors is a good opponent for Michael B. Jordan. He's super jacked. He's more jacked than Michael B. Jordan, I'd say, in this movie. And has a great training montage, I believe. So I wish it was a little bit better. I wish it wasn't mixed on it, but that's kind of where I am with Creed 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. It's not god awful.
Yeah.
I definitely found it very watchable. But to me, it's a big drop off from the first two, honestly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I mean, I would say if you're a fan of Creed 1 and 2,
yeah,
you definitely need to see it. I mean, it's good enough to go, maybe not go see it at the theater, but we definitely catch it when it's streaming or whatever. But yeah, Jonathan Majors, like I say, or like you said, he's fine, he's good. I agree with you about the weird things that Michael B. Jordan brings to it. And I mean, I agree with pretty much everything you said. All the backstory that they just keep driving home.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, we get it. Maybe some audience members don't get it, but most of them do.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep hammering it home. So it not quite as good as the first two. Not nearly in the same weight class, let's say.
That's 100%. Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of what I've been watching, the Creed movies. I mean, they're all better than like Rocky V.
I mean, I'm going to agree with you, even though I don't even remember Rocky V. I've seen it. I should watch it again.
That's the one where
to see where I fall on it these days.
I think it's the one where he's like
he fights Tommy Steele or something, right?
Yeah, and I think he has like a little bit of brain damage from all the boxing.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, which they drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Interesting.
Yeah, I kind of want to go back and watch the Rocky movies, but that's an investment of time.
I plan on it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to make some time to do that. And I want to see the recut Rocky 4.
Oh yeah, Sylvester Stallone came back and recut it.
Yeah, I want to see like what's different there.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be interesting.
All right, well that's what we've been watching. For me, the Creed movies, and for you, it was
Enter the Fat Dragon.
Some fighting movies for us,
and also the Creed movies.
Yep, and the Creed movies. That's correct. All right. Well, that was. Oh,
yes. I almost forgot. But so today we watched Blast from the Past, where a young man is sort of out of time, so to speak. At least he's been kept in a bunker for 30 plus years. So he enters the world, and it looks vastly different. What did you decide to pair with Blast from the Past?
Yeah, so I wanted to go more. I wanted someone that's over 100 years out of time. No, I mean, like you said, I think the normal pairing for this would be something like Pleasantville. And I knew that both of us have seen Pleasantville, so I didn't know if that would be a great discussion. And so I was looking for another movie that's about someone kind of out of time. And I found this movie called Kate and Leopold that I do remember coming out, never seen it. And I told Kirby about it, and she started having this devious laugh when I told her about it. I'm like, all right, well, this one's going to be interesting. So I decided to roll with it. So, yeah, the movie that I'm pairing with Blast from the Past is another movie told out of time. The first pairing of James Mangold and Hugh Jackman, the first of 3 so far. Kate and Leopold is what I decided to roll with, and we'll see how that turns out on Wednesday.
Alrighty, Kate and Leopold, let's do it.
All right, well, stay tuned for that on Wednesday. Let us know what you think about Blast of the Past. Did you have a blast with it, or do you wish it would just blast off into another universe and leave you behind? Let us know down below. Please like, subscribe, share, do all that social media stuff. It really does help, and we really do appreciate it. And stay tuned on Wednesday when we find out if we like Kate and Leopold or if we want to just catapult them back to the 1800s. And we'll see you soon, guys. Have a good one. Bye.